Hi and welcome to Coasting Castaways. My name is Jen.
And I'm Barry.
And today we are going to explore Charleston, South Carolina. So come with us. So we're going to take a horse and carriage ride tour around Charleston. I'm excited about the horses more than anything. So we're going to go check that out and see how it is. Hi there. It's like I'm ready to go. This is our horse, I believe. We're waiting for our tour. And he likes to shake his head when we ask a question. Isn't that right? We're not going to do it now. Come on, horsey. There he goes.
Dun, 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 dun. It's not really that dramatic, but I can make it if I want. Alright, well, welcome to Charleston. My name is Dustin, like Dustin Hoffman, just neither wealthy nor famous. The beautiful man up ahead, his name's Gary. Hey, I was going to say, everyone say, hey Gary, but she beat me to it. That's actually really good. You were just ready for it. Very good. So Gary, he's not very scary. I just like to say he's a big hairy fairy named Gary. Okay. He's originally from a place called Ohio. Okay, I've never been there. So none of these horses come from South Carolina originally. We've gone up north and brought them south. A lot of these horses come from like Pennsylvania and Illinois and stuff, okay? So can anyone guess what community we're getting these horses from?
The Amish.
There we go, the Amish. Okay. Because we raise horses in South Carolina. It's all about like the kinds of horses we raise though. We don't raise 1,800-pound Belgian draft horses. We raise like Tennessee Walkers and quarter horses, mainly pets and yard ornaments. Here's your average horse in South Carolina. It's called the Belvedere. I like it when houses have like their own name. Darling, I'll be down at the Belvedere for a month. So this moved up from being the third largest to the second largest in 1911. Now it was a private home up into the 1950s, no longer a private home. Nowadays it's like a $500 a night hotel. TripAdvisor voted it, I think it's like number 7 or number 8 small private hotel of all the United States last year. Okay? One of the most high-end restaurants in the whole city. It's circa 1886. You can see the sign right there, and all the old stables connected to this. Okay? Oh, once saw an advertisement for this thing. It said, stay at the Wentworth Mansion and get a bottle of complimentary champagne. And I'm like, you can do that, but you gotta change your phrasing here. You can't say complimentary after someone gives you $50,000 and you throw them a $10 bottle of something. You know? The last court-ordered hanging in South Carolina's history, I have to phrase it that way, took place right behind that jail. July the 7th, 1911. A local black man of the name of Daniel Duncan. There had been a murder of a white merchant on King Street. He'd been robbed and beaten, went into a state of a coma, and died about 3 days later without saying a word, so no suspects yet. The widow of the merchant reopens the merchant shop, and she's running it. Soon after she's running it, she's robbed and she's beaten, but she does not die. As she goes to the authorities and states, I don't know who did this to me. When I recognize the black man who beat me, I'll come get you, and we'll get him. So some more time goes by. Several weeks later, she goes to the authorities and states, I saw him today. Let's go get him. He's 24 years old and a local carpenter. Well, what did I do? She states, you beat me. But also, I noticed that once I was on the ground, the first drawer you went to was the money drawer. You didn't have to guess where the money was. I don't believe this is his first time in my shop. And you know a man like him's not allowed in my business. I believe this is the same man who murdered my husband. And off to court we go. Like Kill a Mockingbird style, her word versus his. In 1911 Charleston. The jury found him guilty. The judge handed down a death sentence via hanging. South Carolina outlawed hangings after this. They didn't outlaw executions, but they outlawed hanging as a means of execution after this. And in court, Daniel Duncan broke down sobbing that he was innocent. He sits in that jail for over half a year, waiting for the date of his execution. And he prepared himself, and he knew what he wanted to say that day. The journal entries of the day of his death describe a composed, stoic man prepared to die. And he walks up the gallows. Thump, thump, thump. And he states this: I am an innocent man. However, I found it within myself to forgive you all. I doubt God will. He sentenced to an estimated crowd of around 200 gathered to watch him die. Now they didn't drop him. This wasn't a dropping hang, it was a counterweight. So he's up on a platform. And they pulled the lever and a big weight drops behind him and it was supposed to snatch him up. But he is much larger than the average person that they had kind of like calibrated the system for. So imagine it just lifts him up. The last hang in South Carolina isn't really the last one because of the statement. It's the last one because it took him about 10 minutes straight to die. He could still barely breathe on the end of the rope. That's the crowd, just watch. The crowd's pretty horrified. Just like the confident conviction that he had up there, a lot of them were like he was innocent. And now he just basically threatened the wrath of God upon us and we watched him strangle. 30 days after his death, a hurricane hits this city in 1911, picks a ship out of our harbor, and throws it into our largest mansion, destroying it. What was the name of every hurricane we'd ever had prior to this one? He'd like the hurricane of, and then the year that it hit. Why would you give them human names? Like we had the hurricane of 1902. Throughout all of America, the Weather Service starts naming hurricanes in the 1950s. We wouldn't even give the next hurricane in the 1920s a human name. But it does stand like this. The first human named storm in American history, Duncan. After that man. The first human named storm in American history. From a local black man who said, I forgive you all.
Good. Two. Yeah. Well, we're having lunch now. We finished our tour and we took the recommendation of Dustin, what would you call him?
Tour guide.
Yeah, tour guide. He was managing the horse. And we're at the Oyster House here in Charleston. So we're taking his recommendation to see how that is for some lunch. So what did you order?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. And I got a crab cake sandwich. We're going to see how that is. Plus a couple drinks is coming. Well, I got some type of rum concoction. I completely forgot the name of it. And Barry got a local beer. What's it called?
Palmetto.
Palmetto. We don't know what we're drinking. We're just drinking. All right, the food's here. I got crispy Brussels sprouts and a crab cake sandwich, and Barry got fish and chips. Well, here we are the next day, and I happened to forget to tell you about our carriage tour last night. But it was very informative, and it was a lot of fun. It was about $28 a person. Do you remember the name of it?
No.
I'll look it up and put it in the description. But that was a lot of fun. Our horse's name was Gary. And we had a really good tour guide named Dustin. So he gave us a recommendation for a lunch spot, a local lunch spot called the Oyster House. So we went there, checked it out. Barry's was really good, right?
Yep.
Mine was good too. Just could have been a little thicker. It was a crab cake sandwich, but it was good. Well, today is our last day in the Charleston and Savannah area, so we are heading back to Charleston, and I'm going to take a boat ride and a tour out to Fort Sumter and see what that's all about. It was where the Civil War began, so we're going to learn some more history and check that area out. You got my ticket too?
This is for both of us.
Okay. We made it on the boat the very last minute, and we're supposed to take off in like, what, 3 minutes? So we didn't get to sit upstairs, which is outside. So we're in the air conditioning, but hopefully we can see something outside on the boat ride.
This structure here is called Battery Isaac Hugie. It was built in 1899 just to strengthen some coastal defenses, and it was used all the way through World War II. If you're interested in World War II stuff, you can go over by the water fountain and look at the back wall, and you can see a fallout shelter sign that is original to that time period. And the reason why it's black, if you're interested in that, wasn't because they loved the color black. It was because they had to cover it in tar, because it's made of concrete and it was cracking so badly that their gunpowder was getting wet, so they put tar all over it to waterproof it. So they told me, if I don't know that much about cannons, not to stand by them, but here I am. I can tell you a little bit about these two big ones. They were cast in 1867, so 2 years after the Civil War, but one similar to them were used during the Civil War. They're called Rodmans, and it was the way they were cast, named after a guy named Rodman. It's differently cast than the others. It would cool it from the inside instead of cool it from the outside, so it made them stronger. And they can shoot a 400-pound cannonball over 2 miles. And they would have originally been on carriages with wheels, and the carriages would have been made of metal because the wood ones would not be strong enough. Yeah, 50,000 pounds each. The start of the Civil War happened here at Fort Sumter. So yeah, Revolutionary War, small world. Charleston was a big part of that small world. It was the richest and the largest city south of Philadelphia at the time of the Civil War. And the reason why they were so rich was because of the labor of enslaved people on the local plantations. Enslaved labor was so profitable, in fact, that there were often more enslaved people than there were free in the area. The population of the Charleston area was 53% enslaved.
how tall our truck is in this parking garage. The antenna's already hit something. Alright, let's see if we hit it again. Oh, we missed it that time. Only because I'm filming this. And this is 7'6", isn't it? Yeah. The garage, 7'6". I'll take this house. After we ate a late lunch in Charleston, we were only about less than 30 minutes from Isle of Palms, and today's our last day, so we decided to walk down here and see what it looks like and check it out.